Hello guys, my name is Gavin, and this will be a video on how to make a feature where your player can aim down the iron sights when they're holding down a mouse button, and then zoom back out or go back into hit fire mode when they're not. I will be using a little bit of Python, and I'm just going to get started. So to start off, what we're going to do first is double click the A button until everything is selected and hit X and delete. Next, what we're going to do is use 1 to go into front view and do spacebar and then add a camera like this. I'm going to drag this camera back. And what I'm going to do now is do spacebar and then add a cube. With this cube object, what we're going to do is I'm going to hit S and X to scale it down on the X-axis, S and Z to scale it down on the Z-axis, and then I'm going to go into top view by hitting 7 and go into edit mode like this. Click the face select mode and just click the top face and do W and subdivide, W and subdivide, W subdivide. And I'm not going to make like a full gun or anything, but I am going to grab 2 different points up here. Maybe even a couple others. These are going to represent our iron sights, and I'm going to hit E and extrude them. So if we hit 0, we can see this. We have like a cube object like this. Might scale it up. And it's got kind of this thing looking on it. Okay, these will work for iron sights for now. Alright, what we are going to do now is, since you want to put this towards the middle of your camera. So as you can see right now, mine's pretty much towards the middle, so this will work. So I'm actually going to have, with our cube selected or our gun, I'm going to shift and right click on our camera and hit Control and P and set the parent to the object. Alright, what I'm going to do now is set up a I'm going to set the start keyframe down here to 0 and the end keyframe to 5. And set the initial keyframe to 0 like this. Actually, I'll put 10 for the end keyframe. Next, I'm going to right click on the camera, or on the gun, sorry. And I'm going to hit I and then lock location. And as you can see now, there's now a keyframe. I'm now going to set the keyframe to 10 down here. I'm going to drag the gun down just a little bit. I'm going to drag it out. So it should look like this, and I might actually just drag it forward as well. So it's going to look like this. And I'm going to do I and then lock location. So if we hit play, we can see it looks like this. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go from defaults to game logic and go from Blender render to Blender game. As you can see right now, if the gun is in hit fire mode, the animation keyframe is going to be 10. So I'm going to add a game property. I'm going to rename this game property as keyframe like this. And I'm going to set this to 10 first. Let's now add an always sensor on our gun. Add a Python. Click the first 3 dots. Add a mouse sensor. I'll name this as aim like this, and I'll put the middle mouse button. So for clicking the middle mouse button, I'm going to add a controller Python like this and connect it. Okay. And what we're going to do now is add an action actuator. Change it from play to property. Put the cube action, since that's the name of our weapon aim script or animation. And put the property keyframe like this. Connect it to your always sensor like this. Alright, what we're now going to do is do templates, Python, and then game logic simple. Drag this out and delete the portion that I've highlighted. Hit Control and scroll up on your mouse to make your text larger. And name this as weapon aim.py or something like that. And add that right here. What we're now going to do is get the middle mouse button, or aim, inside of our script. So let's get aim is going to equal content_sensors aim. What we're going to do now is if we press the middle mouse button, so if aim.positive, what we're going to do is have if own keyframe is greater than 0, own keyframe is going to minus equal 1. And if you remember, frame 0 was when we were in aiming mode. So if I hit P now, you can see it's going to move up like that. But if I let go of the mouse, you can see it doesn't go back down. So something that we're going to add right here, or is an else statement. So if we're not holding down the middle mouse button, or an else statement, we're going to have if own keyframe is less than 10. We're going to have own keyframe is going to plus equal 1. So if I hit P now, you can see every time I hold down the middle mouse button, it'll zoom in, zoom out if I'm not holding it, zoom in, like that. Alright, and that's just because, if you remember from the code, the keyframe determines the animation. Keyframe 0 was the aiming down the sights, and keyframe 10 was in the full hip fire mode. That's how you get this effect right here. Alright guys, this is how you aim down sights in Blender. I hope you found this useful.